And as we continue on this edition of the WSAR Newsroom with Pam Laliberte-Lebeau, Fall River City Council member. Good afternoon. Hope everything is nice and dry where you are.
Unfortunately, it's starting to dry out. Hopefully it stays.
Hope so. Yeah, we all deserve a decent weekend, I think. But obviously, you've been aware of what has been transpiring over the last 24 hours, as has everyone else in Fall River. What's your take on what has transpired thus far?
Well, Alan, we've talked about this before. This is a day that has been rumored to be coming for quite some time, and it finally arrived yesterday. People have been waiting for quite some time. There were, rumors. Is the investigation true? Is it not true? Is it politically motivated? And, what we saw yesterday was an arrest of Mayor Correia with multiple counts on an indictment. Of serious and significant charges of defrauding investors, alleging that he stole hundreds of thousands of dollars by telling multiple lies. This is people's hard-earned money that he just apparently or allegedly, just took it and used it for himself. And then, the charges of the falsifying the tax returns and then amending and still falsifying tax returns. So, it's quite a list.
A lot of talk about special meetings and votes and what's in the charter. Does everybody need to just take a step back this weekend, maybe the next couple of days, and take a breath and take a larger look at this?
So I believe we will be doing that just by default. Several councilors, and myself included, have asked Council President to call a special meeting, of course, with the open meeting law guidelines. We couldn't even have one until Tuesday. That would be the earliest if it was called this afternoon. So we will be, taking it all in and taking a step back over the coming days before that meeting, if it is to happen, before it does happen.
But that does have to happen under the provisions of the statutes of the open meeting law, because I was asked earlier this afternoon whether or not you could do it over a weekend, and my response was you'd still have to do it within a 48-hour time span, 48 hours from the time you wish to hold that particular session.
I'm not sure about the ruling on that. However, I don't know that there's a need to have folks, do that on the weekend. And I'm fine with following the 48-hour rule. I don't feel that was any rush from any of the councilors to say, no, we need to have it, right now. So I think the best thing is to see what happens over the coming days, call the meeting, see what happens over the coming days, and then meet on Tuesday night, if that is what Council President does in fact do.
Now, the next scheduled meeting is the 26th. Is this something that could hold until then, or does it have to be done soon?
I think we should do it sooner rather than later. I don't think that it's not regular business. I don't think it should be on a regular agenda. This is, state news, local news, national news. I have friends around the country that have been texting because they're seeing it on their, news stations. And, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate for the city. There's a lot of hardworking people in this city. These actions don't reflect, what our city is about. In my personal opinion, I would like to see the mayor step down. He can focus on his trial. He can, spare any further embarrassment to the city. It's not the council's job or anyone's job to prove him guilty or innocent. But if you look at the, dozen counts on the indictment, even if only one or two of those is found to be true, even a minimum jail sentence, we're talking jail time on all of these counts. And I don't know how you could effectively, run even a small business, never mind a city, having a trial and all of these charges, a federal indictment hanging over your head, and do it with any confidence or have confidence in the residents. So, my thing is that the media spotlight is on Fall River. My phone has been nonstop, as has I think everyone else's. And that's not going to stop, not as long as he is the sitting mayor. And the best thing is that this council can put the media spotlight on Jasiel Correia as a private citizen, let him deal with his trial, and not have the media spotlight on the sitting mayor of Fall River. And I think the city deserves that. I know the mayor says that he loves the city, and if he does, then he needs to take the spotlight off of it. He can keep it on himself, and he can do what he needs to do with his lawyers and prepare for his trial.
And the story has hit the digital edition of the Washington Post, and we have a link on WSAR's Facebook page right now. Are the 9 of you talking amongst yourselves? Is there a consensus of sorts starting to form?
I have not spoken to most of the councilors. I did read the Herald News article yesterday, and I saw quotes from Councilors Long, Councilors Kilby, and Councilor Pelletier. I spoke to Councilor Long for about maybe a minute yesterday. I have spoken to Councilor Kadim and Councilor Ponte. I know Councilor Kadim was putting in a written request to the council president, a formal written request for a special meeting. That was being done just within the past half hour or so, I'd say. And I have not spoken to either of the Camaras, and I have not spoken to Councilor Viveras, whether they are all speaking to, amongst themselves, that I'm not sure of.
And, of course, there are issues that the 9 have to decide at some point. We know that the billboard debate will be postponed until November 8th as far as MassDOT is concerned. And then, of course, there's also the issue of the city architect and the cultural and tourism director, which has been sitting in a committee now for, several months while that's been debated. And at some point, questions have to be answered and votes have to be taken, don't they?
They do, and we need to get back to that. And I think what we're going to see for a while here is a second guessing of, most of what's in front of us based on, just the text of, in the indictment, in the count, lies upon lies is what really just stood out to me. So, what's being said to us? Can we believe it? The mayor hasn't had the greatest history with the council, this one or the past one. So, all of these things are going to start to be second-guessed, and it's really just not going to be good to move the city forward at all. We need to get out from under this cloud, and I'm so tired of people saying that we just need to move the city forward, but we do. We need to get ourselves away from these charges.
Councilmember Pam Laliberte-Lebeau, appreciate your time. Be well. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too, Alan.
Very good. Thank you.